Hello everyone, this is StrawberryShorty back with the Curse of Death's Kiss. And it's actually been a really long time since I recorded this. I also had to replace my phone, which meant re-downloading this game, though thankfully I didn't lose any progress. But I had to mess around with the sound settings for this game and the recording software, so I hope it sounds okay. I want to get past this part, because this part has really loud music. So, well, I actually think we left off at the choice. So, help him open up. I settled down beside him, keeping a safe distance. I might understand more than you think. How could you? You've never had to make the kinds of decisions I face. Decisions? What is he talking about? Less than a week ago, I decided to leave my home and seek my freedom. Maybe that's not on the level you deal with as a prince, but it was a big decision for me. I suppose so. He grumbles, still not meeting my eye. Why do you care so much? You seem intent on taking my hand in marriage. We'll have to know each other better if that's ever going to happen, don't you think? The odds aren't high. Kinda got it for the butler. Yes, I suppose you're right. His expression twists. It's easy to remember the voices, I just speak with disdain for him. Speaking of which, have you ever been in love, Shorty? I've spent my entire life in my house, so no. His question takes me aback. When I speak, I find myself stammering. No, never. Why do you ask? Well, you said we should get to know each other better. That's true. I laugh nervously. Between my confinement and the condition itself, let's just say it's been hard to pursue anything resembling a relationship. It's hard to love someone you can't touch, after all. Oh, I don't know about that. People have fallen in love through correspondence. Even those people want to meet eventually. For me, the end result of such a liaison is a foregone conclusion. Before I started this journey, I didn't even have any friends. Honestly, the person I'm closest to in this world is Andrew, and he's my butler and future husband. You must have been lonely. I was. I know a thing or two about that myself. It may be bustling, but the royal court isn't the best place to make friends, you know. I found that most seek to befriend me solely for their own gain. Surely that's not true of every person. You must have at least one genuine friend. Must I? The world is so rife with suspicion that it becomes hard to tell friend from foe. You can barely even trust your own family. That sounds awful. Meanwhile, I'm like 99% sure my mother isn't listening. If it's as you say, then you must truly have no prospects for courtship. I may not know a lot about that, but I know that it requires trust. There were plenty of eligible noblewomen, but you're right, none of them seem genuine. I want a marriage that's based on more than simple political convenience, says the man who literally showed up at my house and tried to abduct me. I crave a real connection. I feel a strange warmth bloom in my chest. Is that why you sought me out? Why you traveled all this way? James remained silent, staring into the fire. Please, I want to know. Didn't he tell us it was because he heard of us and we sounded interesting? He looks solemnly towards me once more, but says nothing. All right, James. Thank you for talking with me. Is he a traitor? Is he paid into doing this? James gives me a dismissive nod, then returns to his brooding. He's so infuriating, just when I think I have him figured out. And I'm none the wiser about what he was doing last night. What did I miss? Jack stretches with a yawn. Nothing at all. Just a friendly fireside chat. I see. Jack wanders over to the fire and sits down beside me. How do you feel about making a little detour today, Shorty? How should I respond? Enthusiastically or hesitantly? I'll just say enthusiastically. A detour? How fun! That little chime sound. It was a heart. I don't recall that happening before. What's the plan? Jack shakes his head. This won't be much fun, I'm afraid. I was wondering why this area looked so familiar, and then it suddenly hit me. We're near somewhere very important to me, little grave. I'd be remiss not to pay a visit. His voice is the one that feels the most fitting. May I ask what it's about? That's a subject for later, I think. All right, we can make your detour. Thank you, Shorty. It truly means a lot to me. Where's Andrew? Or Anthony? I can't remember anymore, it's been so long. I think this is the chapter end, because we had to cut this one short because the recording got too long. And we didn't have enough gems. Hey, it's our butler. I kind of feel like it should have been the prince, though. But now the volume is too quiet. And I can never tell if doing this actually ups the recording volume. So, continue on. The load times. My magical boyfriend, the bad boys next door, have an enchanting secret. They're magical furries. Wow. I kind of feel like we should have been warned about this. This very sketched-looking town. The town we enter has clearly seen better days. I mean, that's a way to put it. Refuse litters the streets and the buildings are in disrepair. This is not disrepair, this is like burnt. This place looks terrible. Yeah, I'm still working on getting Andrew's accent back. What happened here? It's supposed to be British greed. The nobility pinched Clearwater for all it's worth. We did. I certainly didn't see any of the proceeds. Come over here. I have something to show you. Jack leads us to a large, dilapidated building, which is every building, really. Except this one. This is the only building that looks like it's actually a normal house. This place was once very dear to me. Oh, wait, that was my voice. This place was once very dear to me. I read the faded sign above the door. Is it an orphanage? Clearwater Orphanage, called it. Is this where you grew up? He shakes his head. It was once funded by the lord of this county. It doesn't look like much now, but it was one of the things we were most proud of here. The building was well tended, and you would always see children playing in the yard. So what happened? Lord Beaufort, that's what. Do we know that name? Once he took over, all funding was withdrawn. Every time I walked past, the children were less nourished, their clothes more threadbare. All the while, Lord Beaufort's estate grew larger and more lavish. I'll never forgive him for that. Appalling conduct for a peer of the realm. Truly despicable. He's an evil man, and I resolved to undo his wickedness by any means in my power. I started taking out loans to keep the orphanage afloat. For a while, things were good, and the orphans were happy again. But I ended up owing money to the wrong people. It was so selfless of you to try and help them. Selfless, but stupid. Creditors came after me, and I had to go on the run. Ultimately, my efforts all came to naught. Beaufort closed the orphanage anyway, and the children were turned out onto the streets. Jack clenches his fists in anger. So those were the outstanding debts you mentioned on your wanted poster. And why I entered my current line of work, my friend. I steal from the rich to provide for the poor, and I'm as poor as they come. Why don't you rob Beaufort? Someday I hope to reopen the orphanage. I'll never forgive Lord Beaufort for what he did to them. Are you like Lord Beaufort's kid or something? Because you weren't an orphan, so I feel like you have to be involved. It seems we have a common enemy. Really? How so? I've crossed paths with him myself, and he truly is a vile man. More venomous than a jellyfish, with even less backbone. Well said. I've never met the man, but you both paint a vivid picture. His voice still changing. Andrew steps closer to Jack, patting him on the shoulder. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm sorry too, Jack. I wish there was something we could do to help. Jack continues staring forlornly at the old building, which is the only building in town that doesn't look like it was set on fire. The past is in the past, and there's no changing it now. But thank you for your kind words all the same. I'm glad to see the place is still standing, at least. Jack swallows, his voice thick with emotion. Perhaps it's time to move on. Trees. We soon leave Clearwater behind and continue on our way. None of us are really in the mood for conversation now. Eventually, Andrew is the one to break the silence. If we're taking detours, there's a famous spot nearby. It was once captured by a young artist of some renown. What do you say, Shorty? In the mood for a fleeting diversion? How should I respond? Agree to go or refuse? Is that hard again? I'm going to agree, of course. Of course, lead the way. As you wish, miss. Look at the flowers. Andrew leads us to a meadow laden with small flowers. For such simple blooms, they're really quite beautiful. They almost seem to glow in the sunlight. If I touched them, would they die? I don't remember if that was a thing. I admit it certainly lifts the spirits. Thank you for showing me this, Andrew. They're very pretty. If I may be so bold, they're almost as pretty as you are, Miss Shorty. I feel my cheeks turning poppy red. Where's this flattery coming from all of a sudden? Oh, back to the campfire. We continue on, finally making camp beside a small lake. Andrew and James turn in after supper, but I'm unable to rest. As I sit, I find myself watching Jack as he stares into the fire. He pulls out something from his pocket, looking at it wistfully. I know you're still awake there, Shorty. I sit up with a start. Oh no, he caught me staring. Sorry, I can't sleep. That makes two of us. I knew visiting the orphanage today would stir some painful memories, but... He shakes his head. I didn't expect them to haunt me like this. What's that you're holding? A gift from an old friend. I'm of a mind to tell you about it if you want to listen. What should I do? I knew this would be a gem choice. Listen to Jack or go to sleep. I want to listen. I think the hard thing has to be a new edition. I do not remember that before. I sidle over to Jack. Sure, I'd love to hear about it. There's still so much I don't know about you. I should warn you, it's not a story with a happy ending. How are you so sure it's finished? He smiles sardonically, because the other person is dead. Can I see the gift, please? Oh, it's a little doll. It appears to be a real doll. A picture of which has been photoshopped onto the screen. That's a little weird. Jack shows me the little trinket. It's a crudely made doll. That is not crudely made at all. That's so cute. Someone very special made this for me. Back when I was helping out at the orphanage, I made friends with one of the children there. Every time I passed by, she'd be out in the front yard, waiting for me. How sweet. Her name was Daisy, and she was 6, maybe 7? Somehow she'd gotten word that I was helping them, and I became her personal hero. She waited for me with drawings of me slaying dragons or other little tokens of esteem. Eventually, I managed to get her a real doll of her own for her birthday. I never had any siblings, but Daisy was the closest thing I had to a little sister. Do you know what became of her? He shakes his head, staring at the little figure in his hand. After the orphanage closed, the children were scattered to the winds. I would have taken her in if I could, but it was too late. She couldn't be found? No, it was almost as if she'd never been. I've spent many a sleepless night since then wondering where she might be. So you do have a heart after all. It's a really awful thing to say. What? You honestly thought I didn't? I feared you may be one of those types who only helps others for your own benefit. I was starting to think selfless people only exist in stories. After everything I've told you, everything you've witnessed. Jack puts the little doll back in his pocket and sighs. It gets harder to have those noble intentions every day. In a world viewed kindness with disdain, caring this much often feels pointless. Things should be in a world that views. Don't get me wrong, I'll never give up, but I try to refrain from investing in the outcome. Why is that? It's not wrong to have hope, because he's tired of being hurt. Hope too often leads to crushing disappointment. It's better to close myself off. That way, when things go wrong, I won't feel it as much. That's no way to live, Jack. Maybe not, but it's the surest way to survive. Somehow, the things and people I love always end up causing me the most pain. Jack falls silent for a while, staring into the fire. Hey, thanks for listening. Anytime, Jack. That compassion you wear on your sleeve, it's my favorite thing about you. My heart flutters at his words. He has a favorite thing about me, so there are others, too. Then I look down at my hands and remember, if Jack comes to love me, I'll only bring him more pain. We're trying to break the curse. Morning comes, calm and clear. It's relaxing at first, but then the conversation soon turns to the list of ingredients we seek. Moss flower. Where would we find something like that? It's hard to find, but it does grow around these parts. True to its name, it's a small white flower that grows from moss. How do you know so much about plants? Volda and I go way back, and I've helped her gather things a time or two. I've even mixed together a love potion once. You shouldn't do that. Jack gives me a saucy wink. Well, I suppose that makes you the expert. Lead on, Master Herbalist. Jack takes us deeper into the woods. I'm tired of trees, I swear. The capital may be far from my favorite place, but at this point I'll be happy to be anywhere with running water. Well, I'll certainly be excited to see it for the first time. What are you looking forward to seeing the most? A fountain. What should I say? The people, the shops. I'll say the shops. People in my current state only bring trouble. I've heard how magnificent the buildings are, and I can't wait to see them for myself. Not to mention all the shops full of gowns and jewels. Finery like that is hard to come by in the provinces. James frowns. Yes, the city is beautiful and full of ways to spend money. Did you disapprove? But there's so much more to it than that. I know that, James, but I want to go shopping. You did ask me, and I answered honestly. If you have any suggestions for what I might do there, I'd be eager to know. If that's really what makes you happy, then that's what we'll do. Look at him judging me. James gives an exaggerated sigh. Honestly, the things I do for my future bride. Found it. We stand on the edge of a small clearing, sunlight filtering through the canopy. I want to see if it's going to be a real flower just photoshopped in. This is moss flower, all right. Just breathe in that scent. I take a whiff. It smells muddy. Should we try the herbs first before we use them in the potion? Just to make sure there aren't any ill effects? An excellent idea, miss. In fact, I'd like to volunteer. Andrew, no! Before I can stop him, he picks a moss flower and puts it in his mouth. Is it supposed to taste spicy? No, it's more of a sweet plant, actually. Andrew's eyes go wide in alarm. I don't feel well. What could have gone wrong? An allergy, perhaps? Or he just put a random plant in his mouth? We'd better get you back to the camp. Things could turn so fast. We rush Andrew back to the camp. By the time we get there, he's dizzy and feverish. I just need to rest a moment. He sits down on his bedroll. 5 minutes, then I'll be right as rain. Andrew, lie down. You have to take it easy. All right. Shorty, make sure he actually rests. I can't hold him down if he tries to get up. James and I are going back to pick the moss flower. And something for his fever, because eating an herb worked so well the last time. All right, but don't be too long. The two of them make off. Shorty. I sit down on my own bedroll. My heart twists with sympathy at how miserable he looks. I'm sorry you have to see me like this. Sorry to be a burden on you. Hush, Andrew, it's all right. This is what friends do for each other. That's right, we're friends. He sneezes and I notice a damp sheen to his face. Andrew, you look like you're burning up. I grab my canteen and pour some water on a rag. Look at the rag. Careful not to touch his skin, I hand him the wet cloth. So can we touch them? We just can't touch skin? We're being very unclear here. Here, put this on your forehead. It'll cool you down. Andrew takes it obediently. That's better. I rarely got sick like this back home, but when I did, my old mom would confine me into bed. Still, I insisted on being up and about, even when I was sick as a dog. That's how you don't get healthy, Andrew. Of course you did. Andrew, you have to take care of yourself. I know. It's exactly what my family always said. Andrew sighs. I miss them. I know you do. This adventure will pass soon and you'll be able to see them again. I hope so. When I was sick, my sister used to sing to me. It was such a comfort. He's trying to get us to sing. His eyes are slightly unfocused. He's still gripped with fever. Would you mind singing to me, Shorty? He looks at me so pitiably my heart melts. Whatever I can do to offer him solace. What should I do? Sing to Andrew, politely decline. The character in game will sing. I will probably not sing. I'm no more confident than I was the other day, but I'll do my best. Of course I will, Andrew. What would you like to hear? I'm afraid I don't know many tunes, though. The Flowers of River Glen, if you know it. Oh, I do know that one. You'd always sing it when you were cleaning, even if you thought no one was in earshot. His cheeks grow flushed, but I doubt it's the fever. That rash seems to be clearing up now. What rash? It's an old favorite, what can I say? I'm sure you'll do it justice. Well, here goes. I clear my throat and launch into the song. The lyrics tell a sad tale. Two lovers, their town torn apart, attempt to run away together. Unfortunately, the man is killed and the woman can't bear to live without him. If my voice wavers or if I don't hit all the right notes, Andrew doesn't complain. Oh good, I don't have to sing it. He closes his eyes, finally relaxing. How did I do? You have a beautiful voice. Truly, you were blessed with a gift. I feel like his accent keeps changing. His candor catches me off guard. You're too kind. I'm sorry for what I'm about to say, miss. I know it's not my place. He gazes up at me, his eyes unfocused yet full of affection. You can tell me anything, you know that. As I said, we're friends now. The way you looked when you were singing, it was like an angel. You've become such a beautiful young woman. After this curse is lifted, you'll have more than just Prince James eager for your hand. He thinks I'm beautiful? I have no idea how to respond, stammering over my words. No one's ever... 1,000 apologies, miss. I know it wasn't my place. No, Andrew. I appreciate it, truly. No one has ever called me beautiful before. It's such a shame that... He trails off, blinking hard several times. It's such a shame that... What, Andrew? Are you alright? Andrew sits up. A sheen of sweat belies his sickness. Where are we? How did we get back to camp? What were we talking about? We sought mossflower for the potion. You ate a plant that didn't agree with you and suffered a reaction of some sort. Is he faking having amnesia? We had to take you back here to recover. I did? How frightening. Thank goodness you were there to help me, miss. Yes, thank goodness. We smile at each other in relief. I owe you my life, Shorty. Was he truly delirious before, or was there truth to his words? Could my loyal butler feel something more than duty to me? I hope so. After our delay, Andrew recovers quickly enough for us to depart the next morning. That was a little underwhelming. I'm still not sure about this potion. So far, it's managed to poison one person, and it's not even finished yet. Well, its efficiency is... its efficacy in that regard is beyond reproach. What do you think the potion is for, Shorty? What do I think? It's a love potion, it's poison. I don't think either of these things, but I would say poison over a love potion. Honestly, after what happened to Andrew, it could be poison. Jack crosses his arms. When I said I was unsure about it or worried about its effects on you, I meant that it might turn you into a frog or something. Velda would never intentionally harm you. She's a witch, Jack. These are not my thoughts or feelings. These are my only options. Because I'm not going to say love potion. In my experience, tales do them a great injustice. We're finally here. We'll stop in our tracks, fixing on the gargantuan, shining walls of the city. Wixchester. Wixchester City. I never thought I'd be back here again. It's beautiful. I can't help the grin that spreads across my face as we pass the main gates. Maybe I'll finally find answers here. Despite all we've been through so far, it feels like our adventure has only just begun. This is the chapter end. We don't have enough recording time. But the tickets... Oh, it's Andrew again. I also was sick for a time, so I couldn't record at all. I really need to be mindful of my throat. And I'm totally pushing it, but I want to record this because of those freaking tickets. Sins of the everlasting twilight. You live in a world hit by the glow of a sinful sunset. The only person that can cut through its veil of lies and find true love is you. I like the silverhead guy, he's handsome. At last, we've reached the capital city of Wixchester. Now the music's quieter. I look around in awe, taking in the vibrant sights. This place has a strange atmosphere, like it's teetering on the precipice of something. Every person we see looks worried as they hurry about the streets. It feels like a powder keg ready to blow. Must be consequences of that nobles meeting I keep hearing about. I just think it's beautiful. Well, we're not staying anywhere near here. Don't get any ideas. Where are we staying? Are we even here? I don't remember. I have a contact at the Lonely House. I thought I said Lonely House. I was like, what? James groans. Not another ramshackle inn. At least it'll be a step up from sleeping on the ground. Ugh. I suppose you're right. I mean, you, the prince, could put us up somewhere nice. Jack leads us through side streets and alleys. This part of Wixchester looks much more run down. It's a shadow mouse! Rat scampers over my foot. Before I even have time to shudder in distaste, the creature breathes its last. Oh, poor rat. What a miserable place. It's not bad once you get used to the smell. Jack stops in front of a dilapidated tavern. Here we are. Our new home. We make our way inside the Lonely Louse. The inn is dimly lit with many candles, mostly deserted. The candles are mostly deserted? The black cat snoozes on one of the chairs. This is a step up from sleeping on the ground, but only just. I like it. It reminds me of the inn back home. Jack! A sweet-faced blonde woman waves to us from behind the bar. Hey, Pearl. So good to see you. What brings you back to town? I'm here on business with some friends. You're the lot who's been on the wanted posters. So I assume you're needing a place to hide? Right down to business, I see. Jack nudges James in the ribs. Indeed, we do. Well, we certainly have no love for the royal guards around these parts. You'll be safe here. Pearl turns around and yells into the back room. Fitzhugh, prepare 4 rooms, please. Fitzhugh. A downtrodden-looking man emerges from the back room and heads upstairs. That's my husband. He's been a big help around the inn, especially lately. I'll bet. Pearl pours us 4 mugs of ale and we sit down at the bar. Am I even old enough to drink in this game? So, do I get introductions to these fine folk? Oh, sorry. Pearl, this is Shorty, Andrew, and James. Prince James. Jack makes a displeased noise. A prince gracing us with his presence? Well, I'll be. What kind of business have you here? I can keep a secret. Should I lie or answer Pearl honestly? Tell the truth or lie to protect yourself. I mean, I don't know that there's any reason to lie. We're trying to get ingredients. What did you say? We're looking for a witch. Were we looking for a witch? I thought we were looking for ingredients. We're looking for a witch. I was cursed a long time ago and we're trying to undo it. Shorty, you can't just go around saying that in public. People will start to talk. She said she could keep a secret and she's your friend. The only one listening in here is the cat. The cat's a traitor. People tend to keep to themselves in this part of town. Jack sighs. Fine, but you should be more careful. Oh, you poor thing. You certainly don't look cursed. What happened to you? Eternal bad luck? Everything you eat tastes like ash? I feel like that was a thing in something. She reaches for my hand. No! I recoil backwards, slipping off my stool. My backside makes hard contact with the floor. Are you alright, honey? The guys all look at me, concerned. Don't touch me. What, does your curse give people warts? No, it kills them. I scramble off the floor and sit back down at the bar. I can't touch anyone. Pearl's face turns white. How awful. Our hope is that the one who cursed me is somewhere in this city. It's our mother. Well, like they say, you can find anything in Witchchester. I truly hope you find some answers. I hope so, too. Fitzhugh announces that our rooms are ready and leads us upstairs. I set down my few possessions. There's a knock at my door. Come in? Andrew enters. Beg pardon for the intrusion, my lady. Andrew, it's no trouble at all. I'm aware that we have to keep a low profile, but I was wondering. I know how excited you are to see the sights. Even if there's not much in this neighborhood, a turn around the block or 2 might be nice. Would you like me to escort you about the area? Take a romantic walk with Andrew, or politely to go, is it a romantic walk? He just asked us to show us around. But yes, we're going on a romantic walk. That sounds wonderful. Excellent. Let's go right now. Andrew and I leave the inn, stepping out onto the city streets. Just smell that air. It kind of smells like garbage. It smells like a city. And look over there. What kind of bird is that with the rainbow feathers? That's a pigeon. I dated a pigeon once. Well, more like 6 times. Once my curse is lifted, I think I'll keep one as a pet. Andrew laughs. Most people consider them to be vermin. They were once kept by nobility as pets, though, so it's fitting that you're drawn to them. Really? I've never heard that... My attention is suddenly torn away to the sight of a nearby stall. It's shabby but decorated brightly. Drinks. Would you like some? I've never had street food before. A drink is not street food. Mother always said it would upset me too much with my delicate constitution. Well, she can't tell you what to do anymore. You said we had to keep a low profile. We can make one exception. I proudly walk up to the cart and place my order triumphantly, slapping a coin on the counter. There is no counter there, and that is not a drink stand. This is so exciting. I've never paid for anything before. Well, we'll see how enthusiastic you are for that after you have to give away your last coin. You know, it's interesting to see someone experience all these small things for the first time. It reminds me to stop and appreciate the simpler moments in life. Is it? I feel foolish for it sometimes. Please don't. My face becomes warm at his words and my heart begins beating faster. I'll keep being excited then. We head back along the street, drinks in hand. There's some shops and stalls selling frivolities. One of them in particular catches my eye. A flower shop! That's a big sunflower. I run to the window. Look at all of these, aren't they just beautiful? That they are. I especially like the orchids. I wish I could get them. I'd give anything to be able to touch them. I sigh. So, are we just like killing grass every time we walk? I've never received flowers from anyone before. Which ones are your favorites? I really like the daisies. They're simple, but they're so cheerful. Once we find a cure for your condition, I'll pick all the daisies you want. Couldn't we just wrap them in paper? I'll bring them to you so often you'll get sick of daisies. Andrew looks at me and there's nothing but tenderness in his eyes. Then, abruptly, he turns away. Forgive me, my lady. 1,000 apologies, that was out of line. As your butler, Andrew, you don't have to apologize. In fact, if you were to be out of line more often, I certainly wouldn't mind. Is that so, my lady? It is. Andrew looks back at me, and this is the time we both blush. Could Andrew have feelings for me? State the hot butler. After a hearty meal and a good night's sleep, I wake up the next morning to a commotion downstairs. You brought royal guards into my inn. Oh, James, great. I can explain. I rush downstairs still in my nightgown. No, we should be hiding upstairs. What if one of them grabs us? James' guards have returned and they're standing next to him by the door. Explain it to Shorty, would you? I'm sure she'd like to hear what you've done. I stop. James, what is going on? I didn't really send my guards away. I kept in contact with them the entire time, sneaking out to meet them at night. I gave them information about your whereabouts they took back to the royal family. Wow, James. Really drop it on the potential husband list. James hangs his head in shame. James has just betrayed me. Yell at him, cry. See, I can't even slap him. I'm gonna cry. James, why? I didn't expect you to sell me out. Tears start coming and they won't stop. That's right, feel guilty! I thought we were friends. We are friends. I can't say I never meant to hurt you, but I didn't mean for it to go this far. What do you mean you didn't mean to hurt me? You don't hurt your friends! I told you my biggest secret. You betrayed me. James looks even more ashamed. Andrew, slap him. I can't do it. Just let me explain. I promise it'll fix everything. You just said you planned to hurt me. What explanation could you possibly have for this? I knew there was something shifty about him. Remember how suspicious he was acting when we found him in the woods? And he was downright mean to all of us, too. I'm sure you're just lying now to save your own skin, aren't you, Prince James? This entire journey started out as me trying to save my own skin. It's about something different for me now. So why did your guards show up? The guards came here today because they've been tracking me. I stopped meeting with them a while ago. It doesn't feel that way from how time was shown to pass in this game. He turns to me with pleading eyes. Initially, I was desperate to marry you because I saw you as a way to regain my claim to the throne. I'm not sure how that flies. Gain your claim, but you're a prince already, and I'm nobody. Well, technically, yes, but that is not enough anymore. Lord Beaufort saw to that when he framed me for collusion with our enemies and had my father banish me from the palace. Right now, I'm a commoner. You were trying to manipulate me into marrying you so you could, what, get some status back? Did you care for me at all? That's why I stopped meeting with the guards, Shorty. As I got to know you better, I became more sympathetic to your plight. More than anything else, I wanted to help you break this wretched curse and end your suffering. Why would we believe you now? You lied to us before. I'll show you. And what's with the information being taken back to the royal family? What's that mean? I'll show you. He draws his sword facing the guards. What are you doing? If you fight us, that's an act of aggression against the throne. What's a few more black marks on my record anyway? The guards draw their swords as well. I'm warning you. This is your last chance, James. So be it. I don't really like this twist. He swings his sword at the guards. Hey! No fighting in my inn! She ducks behind the bar along with Jack and Andrew. She seems more like the type to start swinging. I'm rooted to my spot on the stairs. The guards strike back at James, but he avoids every sword thrust, dodging and diving. Sorry, Pearl. James goes on the offensive, swinging the sword aggressively. We can't keep up with him. Fall back! Next time we see you, Prince James, you'll be carted off to a cell. The guards turn and run out the door. James sheathes his sword. Well, do you believe me now? Jack and Andrew emerge from behind the bar. I'll say. You're a real outlaw now. They could have easily set that up, though, technically. But that also means you're a prince no longer. James laughs nervously. I'm just one of the group. A regular person. How does it feel? As the guys continue to talk, I unsteadily make my way to the kitchens. Everything all right, love? Yes, I'm just overwhelmed. I just need a minute. There's no one in the kitchen at this hour. I take a few deep breaths and feel my swirl of thoughts settle. Then I start preparing some supplies. The door is pushed open. Shorty. I sigh. Yes, James. I wanted to explain myself and my intentions. I know all of this must be confusing for you, but hear me out. James looks at me pleadingly. Hear him out and give him a second chance, turn him away. I mean, I don't know why I have to give him a second chance, but I do want to hear what he has to say. So I'm going to do that. This had better be good. I'll hear you out, but I have some questions for you first. I continue my preparations, chopping some herbs as I talk. Like what? How do we know how to cook? How are you planning to use me to get your title back? My family are nobles, but not that high-ranking. Were you planning on using my curse? Initially, yes. But as circumstances changed, you were gonna have me kill people? You made me believe you were genuinely interested in me because you wanted me to kill for you. I slammed the knife down. How else was I going to do it? Should I have said, hello, nice to meet you. Can I use your magic touch to kill the lord who ruined my life? You should have said nothing at all. You should have never approached me. Have you ever taken a human life, James? Do you know what that's like? I've won duels before, but I've never killed someone, no. I turn to face him, holding a file in my hand. I don't recommend it. Not even if it's your worst enemy. See, this is why I didn't tell you, because I knew you wouldn't understand. I take a step towards him. All that talk about getting to know each other better was a lie as well? You weren't really interested in me at all. I know it was wrong. When you're kicked out of a life that's yours by right, you get desperate. James takes a step towards me. What, you think I don't know how that feels? Just because I'm cheerful most of the time doesn't mean I'm not bitter too. You've been cut off from the throne, but I've been cut off from the whole world. I know you have. I consider that a great injustice, and that's why my motives changed. I want to help you, Shorty. So let me. I take another step towards him. Fine. I stare up into his eyes defiantly. I can feel James' nervous breath on my face. But don't you ever play with my emotions like that again. Wait. I can feel his breath on my face. I won't. I'm too close. I gasp and back away from James rapidly, dropping the file in the process. That was too close. I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me. I like that we're at least standing up to him and not just being a pushover. I kneel down to start cleaning up the potion vial. It was my fault too. Here, let me. He grabs a broom and dustpan, starting to sweep with the broken glass. This is my first act as a commoner. Sweeping the floor just like anyone else. I smile at him. James has a hard time apologizing, but I think this is how he's choosing to say sorry. Thank you, James. He sweeps up the broken glass and tosses it in the trash. I think I've bothered you enough. I'll let you get back to it, shall I? I nod. I'll see you later. James moves to leave, but something strikes him and he turns back. By the way, is he blushing? I was not faking everything before. You really are growing on me. Please be the chapter end. We're nearly at 40 minutes. No! After the commotion of the previous day, the next morning is a welcome respite of calm. We've decided to patch things over by going to the nearby market briefly. We should not be going to a market with my condition. Where should we go first? How about over there? He points to a stall full of leather goods. I think I'd rather look around the fruit stands first. Why not leave it up to Shorty to decide? What do you want to do? Let's split up, I want to see something with you, or let's stay together and go to the fruit stand. I'll say let's stay together. Or should I? I want to go with him, but I also think we should stick together as a group, so I'll say let's stay together. Let's all go to the fruit stand. We should make our business here as quick as possible. Andrew looks disappointed. I really wanted to show you some of the things around here. Diversions can wait. First, I need breakfast. An excellent idea. We can't plan our next move on an empty stomach. Sorry, Andrew, but we should be sticking together. Who's this woman? Before I can go anywhere, I stop myself. There's a familiar figure coming towards me, one I would recognize anywhere. Don't panic. But my mother is here. That's her mother? She doesn't dress like a noblewoman. Chapter end. Thank goodness, but that woman seems friendly. I don't know. I'm nervous about this. But anyway. Oh, we get to look at her now. So, do you think we could trust the mother? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!